Welcome to ReZero Character Analysis Series. I did a poll and it was a majority amount victory for Regulus Corneas and the Sin Archbishop of Greed. Y'all chose him, y'all ask, and y'all will receive. So let's get into the video. Regulus Corneas is actually the strongest and one of the most oldest Sin Archbishops in the Witch Cult. He actually made his debut in the second interlude of Arc 3 when he took on Crucius military convoy alongside Rim, and he actually was accompanied along by Lai, one of the Sin Archbishops of Gluttony, the brother of Roy and Lewis, the other two Sin Archbishops of Gluttony. And he also appeared in Arc 4 events with Petaljuice and also Fortuna and Amelia in LR Forest, with alongside Pandora as being the two main antagonists, while Pandora shoved him to the ground and sent him back to his 75 wives. Regulus is actually have a lot of air of mystery surrounding him. We don't really know a lot about Regulus, but he is also responsible for many brutal mass slaughters and annihilations in the century prior to the beginning of the story. Regulus' appearance. At first glance, anyone would consider Regulus to be utterly unremarkable individual. His face had no notable features, and he had golden eyes that were usually murky and disinterested, but started to sparkle when he's passionately engaged in a long monologues of his. His modestly handsome face wasn't particularly attractive or unattractive. His height and build were both utterly average. As one to expect, his hair also didn't particularly stand out as neither short nor long, without a distinct style. However, it is naturally white despite his youthful face, regular white skin that lacked any semblance of a tan, coupled with white hair, predominantly white clothing, made him seem as thought he was the purity of a lot of things. Basically, give him like basically he's all white, giving him he is actually the definition of pure. Like he is infinity, he is immortal. He's actually the standard in his clothing, with also his personality. But Regulus' attire was much like his features. Body shape was neither extravagant or too shabby, instead portraying an impression of averageness, but giving also impressionness with his all white clothing, actually gold cuffs and golden collar. His what notice about Regulus is his piece of clothing was long white coat, reached down to his ankles, had golden edged cuffs, a set of golden buttons running down the torso with a center front that usually ensured that coat was closed by hip line, and golden highlighted edging. The inside of the coat was black, virtually vertical golden stripes traveling down the entire coat. The most striking part about his coat was the gold black neck collar sported that had the symbol infinity inscribed of it, reflecting the nature of Regulus' authority under his coat. Personality. Regulus was talkative and tended to describe himself as unselfish by representing greed. He would go on and on about trivial matters in coherent ways, usually leaving the other party confused or unable to follow his thoughts, ideals, and values. Due to his extremely prideful personality, however, he often forced his own selfishness onto others and tried to justify it. And he also has a lack of other people's feelings beside his own, which is a common theme to other Sin Archbishops. If his opponents had said something that were against his opinions and his beliefs and values, he would find unreasonable faults in them, gradually becoming angry while accusing them of violating his rights. Whenever you go against whatever he says or does, he violating his rights. And the perfect example of violating his rights and also arguing with him is when he attacked Rim when Rim actually was getting ready to fight, even though Regulus actually destroyed the convoy of Crucius' military convoy. He said, I'm not wanting to fight. He don't want to fight. And Rim did it anyway, getting ready to fight him, try to attack him. And he got very angry, destroying Rim. History. More than 100 years ago, Regulus used to live with his family. His father was an alcoholic, and he had tried to be a good father. His mother complained about bad earrings, but apologized for it occasionally. And his two brothers were sometimes mean to him, but gave him their share of the meal if he accidentally spilled his. At an unspecific point in his life, Regulus was chosen as the Sin Archbishop of Greed and obtained the witch factor of greed. According to his deepest desires, developed the overpowering authority of greed, which he used in the following century of his life. Regulus subsequently killed his entire family, then the villagers who looked down on him, followed by the people from a nearby town who pushed his family into peril. Then finally, intemperate heads of the country who carelessness abandoned Regulus' village that nearby town he had already had slaughtered. He broke his childhood love's mind, slaughtered her family, and forced her to marry him, thus forcing her to become his first of many wives. Only after have committed such atrocities, Regulus finally see a way to live free of all his worries, not needing anything as considering himself satisfied as he was. At some point in the past, Regulus got a hold of a small black box similar to the one Betelgeuse used. It is unknown what it is, or is it the same, or is it a different one than Betelgeuse have. However, Regulus did not know what was inside of it when Betelgeuse showed him during the events of Elor Forest, suggesting the box Regulus once held contained either the witch factor of greed or sloth. In the following year, Regulus became the Sin Archbishop of Greed, joining the witch cult, in which he had become the leader of the radical faction, familiarizing himself with the doctrine of the cult and its members. Regulus meets Betelgeuse, the leader of the now forgotten moderate faction. It is safe to assume the two didn't harbor a friendly relationship, although occasionally cooperate along with each other with the other Sin Archbishops. Just like the other high-ranking members of the witch cult took care of their own goals. In his free time, usually searching out beautiful women he forced to marry and spending his days with. Roughly 100 years before the events of the main story, Regulus participated in an attack of the elfin village in the Elor Forest alongside Pandora, cooperating with her to collect the elf of Fortuna as his 79th wife. With the pairing revealed their intentions, Betelgeuse was helping the elves in the forest and ordered Fortuna to run with her niece Emilia. And Regulus then proceeded to have one-sided battle with Betelgeuse, who just took in the witch factor of sloth and cutting Betelgeuse's right arm off, severely wounding and ruining his legs by throwing dirt at him. Just before he was about to deal the finishing blow by smashing Betelgeuse's head open, Fortuna interrupted him, which greatly angered him, which Pandora calmly asked him to spare Betelgeuse's life. He lashed back at her, throwing dirt at her, killing her instantly. Soon after, Pandora used her authority of vainglory to erase her death from every happening and proceeded to remove Regulus' existence from the forest and send him back into the mansion, which reverted the damage he had dealt to Betelgeuse in the Lord Forest. And 15 years before Subaru's arrival, Regulus single-handedly took down heavily forted Vlachan city of Garla, housing thousands of soldiers. And the Vlachan hero Kurgan, rumor has it at the time a meteor supposedly belonging to one of the 6 witches was located in the city itself. It is confirmed the meteor did not belong to the Witch of Envy. It is not known if the meteor was actually present or if it was only an excuse to drive the witch cult to take action. Abilities. Regulus Corneas actually has the ability and authority of greed. He also has the stillness of an object's time. That's mainly his offensive ability. Regulus can stop the time of anything that he is wearing, touching, or even his breath, which in turn stop the objects or things interference from the outside world, and not only allowing its interference outwards, even granting Regulus the ability to freely manipulate the object's shape. The small object and view the stillness of the object's time could be used either as a platform which allowed Regulus to freely traverse on it, or utilized as objects of intermittent death and destruction as they were created, devastating and destructive attacks when he used with his miraculous intent. He can use dirt, sand, or pebbles imbued with stillness of time. Regulus frequently showed his ability to pick up or kick things like dirt, sand, or stopping their time, throwing them towards his enemy As the time of these small objects were stopped, the objects effectively acted as anomalies in the world, being cut off from the flow of time. They passed through anything that collided with, no matter their sturdiness, leaving them behind only small holes. If the structure was still left standing in the first place, if thrown at an individual or animal, the objects would naturally travel through them, completing shredding and goring them, usually leaving behind nothing more than an unrecognizable pile of flesh or bloody mist. And a perfect example of this is when Regulus used his ability to shred Pandora into a bloody mist during an attack at the forest roughly 1 century before starting the main story. He can also use water in the stillness of time, though not very practical in most fights. Regular did resorting to water if he had the chance to do so. The ways of attacking were pretty much the same. Regulus just scoop up a full fistful of water, throwing it toward his enemy, rendering him through to nothingness. He can also use wind with the stillness of time, and a perfect example is this when he cut Betelgeuse's arm off. Regulus' purely defensive ability is his Lionheart, allowing him to freeze his heart time, stopping his heartbeat and granting him a temporary state of invincibility. Apparently he's invincible. Regulus was completely cut off from the world's flow of time, literally becoming a walking anomaly. He did not have any need for eating, drinking, or even breathing, and his body did not age in a single second, nor did it perform the most basic human functions, such as sweating or exerting bodily fluids. He could even ignore every physical law he wished, traveling at inhuman speeds, making it seem like he's teleporting around places, ignoring gravity, and also scaling multi-story buildings by just lightly pushing himself off the ground. According to Ronhard, he did not possess a heartbeat and had a corpse-like body temperature. Lionheart acted as his ultimate defense ability that allowed him to completely ignore any form of damage dealt to his body, be it a sword or any magical attack that could level entire buildings. He can also share the Lionheart with his other wives, making him completely invincible and hard to stop. The only person that can actually stop Regulus and completely defeat him is Puck, that if he can do it long range and actually could kill his wives, giving him no time to recover, possibly killing Regulus Corneas. In conclusion, Regulus Corneas is the strongest Sin Archbishop in the rezero story, and he's completely different from the Witches of Sin, Etna, that is the Witch of Greed. He is not showing greed, he's basically satisfied with his own self, and basically telling himself he is actually perfect, forcing his values and stuff on other people, making him very angry if he didn't, apparently violating his rights. But tell me what you think in the comments down below. Tell me what you think about Regulus Corneas in the comments down below. But I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.